So welcome back to episode 2 of the Zero to Hero series, where I take a spec that I've never played before, all the way through to producing good logs in a heroic raid. It's been quite a while since I produced the first episode. Stupidly enough, I started making this series at the same time as the Liberation of Undermine patch came out, so I've been pretty busy leveling the Evoker and getting stuck into all that content. But now we're back and we can pick up from where we left off. We had just reached level 20, and to mix up the leveling process, we took ourselves into a time-walking dungeon. Although I'd only had a little bit of experience with the new Starfall move, I was very happy with our AoE at this moment in time. So get me in the dungeon, get me some of those big pulls, and let's see what we can do. So we pulled our first pack, nothing crazy big. I started off by applying Sunfire to pretty much all of the mobs. I would follow this up with Moonfire straight after, and obviously when Starfall became available, I would drop that down and finish off dotting. If any of these dots fell off, I would replace them. One thing I very quickly found was it's actually quite hard to apply Moonfire to all of the mobs. Maybe it's my playter profile, but you kind of get a little bit lost in there working out which mobs have this dot on and which ones don't. But I wanted to give it the rest of the dungeon just to see if it became any better. So we tried this approach for pretty much the entire dungeon. Rinse and repeat, Moonfire, Sunfire, chuck on Starfall. Any of these big AoE packs I expected to do well. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes it did do well. I was at the top occasionally. I do feel like overall, eventually I would end up just dropping down and falling somewhere in the middle of the table. So there's obviously some sustaining that I need to be better at. But this does not take away from how fun it was. I was just constantly having a laugh and having a blast. And it was actually really quite refreshing not to constantly have to, face the right direction. I think that's one thing I realized about the differences of the Druid and the Evoker. I would have to care a lot less about where I was standing, where I was facing. I could apply the dots with my back face to the monster if I really wanted to. That was quite refreshing. Although my damage might not have been the best, visually, Starfall was bonkers. Moonfire Blast! Look at it, bro! It's just carnage, isn't it? Unfortunately, though, applying Moonfire never actually got any easier. I would find myself constantly forgetting to top it up, constantly forgetting to find the right mobs, so that's something we need to improve on in the future. The dungeon was over within 5 minutes, but in that time, I had managed to go up 2 entire levels. I knew time walking dungeons were quick, but I didn't realize it was that quick. We're definitely going to be coming back here every few levels just to mix it up and progress even faster. At level 27, I unlocked something called Celestial Alignment. What this did is it gave me both eclipses, the lunar and solar. Not only that, but I also got a 10% haste buff for 15 seconds. And I love this for a couple of different reasons. One is that it felt very much like a Dragon Rage, right? An Evoker has Dragon Rage, they pop it at the start of their rotation, and they can just smash all of their buttons, and it's all fun and frenzied. This felt kind of like that because I didn't have to worry about proccing the different eclipses. I could just go into using the move that I wanted to. And on top of that, I could then keybind it to a similar location that I would have had on the Evoker as well. So this made it easy to use, pick up, understand, where I was going to be using it. And yeah, overall, this is really cool to have, and I look forward to using it. So, standing in a dungeon, raining down starfalls on lots and lots of mobs whilst I have a tank is one thing. But taking on a very large single target mob on my own outside of that is a completely different situation. I had to use a combination of defensives, regrowth, making sure my eclipses were right, making sure I'm using Wrath in the right place, making sure I'm hitting Star Surge when I can. All of this together though, I was able to stand there and go toe-to-toe with Arzef the Merciless. Which means not only can we do the AoE, but we can also handle the bigger single target fight styles, giving me full confidence that I am well on my way to becoming a well-rounded balanced druid. So as I got close to level 30, I flew myself into Zangarmarsh. Now, I've flown around Shadowlands before and I've been into all the zones, and one of my favorite parts of the entire World of Warcraft game is Ardent World. There's something about that blue hue and the design, the fantasy, mythical feeling about it that I find really captivating. I loved it. And it was also when I upgraded my PC to like 120 frames. And so the whole game just looked amazing. I felt like it was a similar sort of feeling here, right? It's got these blue mushrooms, that blue hue, very focused on the nature and everything like that. So I was looking forward to doing the next 10 or 20 levels in this new zone. So far, I've spent a lot of my time focused on the balanced druid moves and abilities. But what I was about to accidentally stumble across, I think, is one of the most key and crucial reasons of why the druid is a cool class. You can transform into a freaking seal, dude. All right, that travel form isn't just a bird when you're out in the open. Like, it is also a seal form when you're underwater. I had no idea this was about to happen, and I freaking loved it. All right, that was so cool. I was trying to do a quest here and get some stuff done, and I accidentally stumbled across it. But yeah, I think that was really, really cool. I was not expecting to do that, and I loved it. I really, really did enjoy it. I just thought it was on land and in water. That's so cool. But then not only that, I know this travel form is a bird when I'm outside and somewhere I can fly. I know it's a seal when I'm in the water. How cool would it be going from water to flying? And have Blizzard thought about this? And is it even possible for me to do what I think I'm about to do? Oh, from water to air? Like, that's fucking awesome. Seal to bird form. That's just amazing. I think that's awesome. Now I was sold. Now, for some reason, when I hit level 30, I started to level up really, really fast. I'm not entirely sure why, but the leveling experience was completely different after this point. I was going through levels really, really quick, and yeah, I never actually got to the bottom of it. I chucked myself back into another time walking dungeon because the last one was so much fun, and it was really quick to level up. You know me, I'm putting dots on these mobs, I'm chucking down Starfall, and I'm rinsing and repeating. But compared to this rogue, probably didn't even need to be in this dungeon. And it was another dungeon which could be completed in 5 minutes. Everyone knows the quickest route to, like, kill one boss, and the whole thing is over. Now, on the next dungeon, right towards the end, I thought the turns had tabled. I came to the conclusion that the more mobs there are, the more successful I will be. All right? More dots I could put on, the more things I could hit with Starfall, the greater my DPS. And I was actually getting to the top of these meters quite a lot, to be honest with you. A lot more frequently than I'd seen before or previously. But the thing I struggled with was going from that to then a single target, right? I'm either doing great in the AoE, and then as soon as it goes to a single target fight, I just drop down the meters rapidly. I have no concept of how to switch between the two and what is the best way to go. Like, at what point do I stop doing this Starfall AoE move and start going for single target or cleaving? I have no idea. I've not got that down at all. Now, after completing those two dungeons, I was able to hit level 37 in no time at all, and this next choice from the talent tree was very interesting. It was a choice of two mushrooms. One I could put down manually, and the other one was a passive effect which would pop the mushroom. But it felt like I had another dot. I now have this third dot, which is just going to add on to the bundle of dots that I've currently carried, and I mean, I'll take it. I don't mind passive damage happening. Now, I did want to go for the passive effect because that makes more sense. I don't want to have to go and apply another dot. However, I then changed that back because it was going away from the starter build tree, and we decided to go for the one that I had to place. I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with the build that Blizzard suggests, and we're going to go with that for the rest of the time. At level 38, I saw a talent that I never thought I would see, and I still don't make sense of it right now. Rising Light, Falling Night. During the day, healing and damage is increased by 3%. During night, my versatility is increased by 2%. I thought it was some in-game thing, like it was just going to happen randomly. Turns out that it genuinely depends on whether it is night and day. I still don't think this makes sense. I think I'm being trolled. There is no way that they could base a certain effect of the character based on whether it is daylight or nighttime. Right? What if you can only play this game during the day? Or what if you can only play this game during the night? Does that mean that you're never going to benefit from the effect in whichever time of day that it is? I don't know. That's something crazy to me. But apparently that's the way it is. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we finally hit level 40 in the back of Zangarmarsh, and we pretty much completed this zone. We have a ton of upgrades for the balanced druid. We now have the ability to transform into a seal, which is the most important thing. and we are about to venture onto the next zone, which is Nergrand. I'm pretty sure with the pace that we're leveling now, this is going to be the final zone, and we will hit the relevant, most recent expansion content soon. Thanks again. Cheers for watching. See you next time. Bye.